Someone's telling me what I can and can't believe. There have been people arrested for messages that they've sought to publish where they differed with homosexual practice. I quoted outspoken lesbian author Camille Paglia recently. She made the comment that what bothers her is that the current gay and lesbian activism is so Stalinist. That's what someone said from the inside. That's what I also face at times. You've got people at work that have been forbidden from using the term natural family because it was considered to be hate speech. This happened in Oakland, California. It was held by the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals. So my concern is that it's actually going in the other direction. My concern is that another group is restricting what religious beliefs I can and can't hold. So let me repeat. I am not advocating for theocracy. I'm simply acting as a citizen like everyone else, plain and simple, and to whatever extent I can inform the government, as Harry just said, be a prophetic witness, confront with moral issues, I'll do my best to do it within the realms of our democratic society, and that's it.
When lesbian and gay people, who are the second most targeted group for hate crimes, have gone to its government to ask for hate crimes protection, it has been leaders believing what Michael Brown believes, who have fought it and fought it and fought it and fought it and fought it. When we have asked for protections in the workplace, in places not in religious settings now, be clear, but in places where a truck driver just wants to drive the truck well and is also a lesbian or a gay man, when we've asked for those protections from our government, it's been the preachers who have fought against it. The stakes are high. It's whether or not I have life insurance. It's whether or not I can inherit Mike's Social Security benefits. He's made a lot more money as a lawyer than I have as an activist. And if he predeceases me, I don't get his higher Social Security benefits in this country, the way my mama was able to be helped for having followed my daddy's more lucrative career around the country. That's the kind of thing that is at stake here. Whether or not Mike has health insurance, which he doesn't as a self-employed person right now, and the disc replacement surgery has just about done in his practice. And the preachers in this country are out telling employers that they shouldn't be taking care of us. Now, friends, the stakes are high. And all of the Michael acting put upon in this power dynamic is finally just a little pitiful. Straight people have all of the power in this country. We are simply asking for justice and equality. And you know what it looks like in your hearts. You know it. And the Spirit of the living God who speaks justice and peace into every conversation will tell you what it looks like. I will believe that Michael is for justice when he comes out for the Employment Non-Discrimination Act or for the hate crime bill that's being sponsored in the legislature by Equality North Carolina here. But not until then.
Thank you. This is one congregation in which you get to hand something in that is not monetary. I do not know what we're calling the folks who are collecting the cards, but could you collect the cards? We're going to just, for 1 second, and I'm going to actually just pause for a minute because I don't want that happening while we get to the last question. Here is the question. Part 1. Is there anything in your faith that gives you pause about the positions you take? Is there anything that makes you think you might in any way be wrong? The second part, is there any possibility of common ground? Third, if so, how do we move towards it? And last, if not, if in fact there is no common ground, if in fact there is not even the possibility of common ground, how do we still live together with the equity and justice that make peace possible? So, Harry, we'll start with you.
Well, I am convinced that I'm right about this, but only after really, really wrestling with it and having grown up in a denomination in the United Methodist Church before I became a member of the United Church of Christ that taught me something very different. I have wrestled with it, and I have prayed, and I am at perfect peace. That's my experience, and it is mirrored in the experience of millions of lesbian and gay Christians around the globe. I do not discount those people who say that they have taken a different path. It is theirs to say. In this country, I'm grateful that we can live together in peace with different experiences and shared experiences. I will say that around the ex-gay stuff, there's great scientific evidence that most of those people are simply repressing their feelings and that they have not been, in fact, changed. And don't take my word for it. Take the word of the American Medical Association, the American Psychiatric Association, the American Psychological Association, and the American Association of Pediatrics. I'm pretty sure I'm right about this. What always gives me pause is that in being right, I will also be so dogmatic as to turn off fellow believers. And I seek not to do that. And it's hard sometimes because the stakes are high. It gives me really great pause. Is there possibility for common ground? Absolutely. We can agree to go to work on these other justice issues together. The metropolitan community churches, the gay denomination, after Katrina, went down to Louisiana and Mississippi and worked and worked and worked. And one of the marvelous outcomes of this that nobody anticipated was that they were thrown together with lots of Southern Baptist congregations. And the two of those groups would get together and they would experience the Spirit of the living Christ in each other so much that they found themselves to be friends and neighbors and family. And it was because they were focused on helping Katrina victims and not talking about sex. So I'm hopeful. I think that's how we begin to move toward reconciliation in this community, and we just got to keep talking.
In this case, Michael is going to, I think, respond to my question, and then Harry will respond, and then Michael will respond. And I didn't say respond because I think maybe you guys have the discretion in terms of what you respond to. I think it's your floor.
Okay. Yeah, so to try to go through all 4 points, as I think Harry basically did, I've wrestled with these issues every way I know how. The only way I know how to have integrity before the Lord is to challenge what I believe. The only way that I know to have integrity and study the Scripture and walking with Jesus is to agonize before God and challenge my position and ask what makes me right and read everything I can and listen to the people from the other side. Having done that every way I know how to do, I have absolutely no question that the scriptural teaching is very plain and it represents God's heart and what he has designed us for and what's best for us. If there's a pause, it's not about being right and wrong. It's about the pain that other people feel and how I'm going to be viewed because of it. In other words, God knows the care and concern I have for people here, and you'll just walk out thinking, well, I hate you, I reject you, I wish you would all die. Well, God forbid that you think that, but if you do, that's painful for me. That's what gives me pause, that someone would perceive me as working against their best interests. But I've had to wrestle with many things. Jesus said we have to take up the cross to follow him. That means we have to deny ourselves and what we think is what we'd like to do and really serve him, knowing that it's for the best of others. The issue about ex-gay, Harry quoted from Romans 2, not to judge, and I really encourage you not to judge. If you want to look at a serious study, it just came out, Mark Jones and Stanton Jones and Mark Yarhouse on ex-gays, a longitudinal study. And all of the major guys, the APA guys and all these organizations, they say it's a fabulous study. And in fact, they point out that these major psychological and psychiatric societies now are unbelievably politically correct and how they suppress contrary evidence. Leaders like Dr. Nicholas Cummings and others and Rogers H. Wright have said the same thing. So the question is possibility of common ground. Well, first, as fellow human beings, we have common ground. Hopefully, the fact that we both got up here tonight, and even if some of the things said were very difficult for some to hear, we still got up here as civil human beings. We still got up here recognizing that we're not going to catch some disease from being on the same platform. We can learn to be friends to one another. we can learn to be fellow human beings to one another and not put the primary emphasis